Thanks for having me. I feel so honored.
Thanks, Amanda. So will you walk us through a little bit about your Melaleuca journey and what Melaleuca means to you?
Yes, sir. My enroller and friend, Mackenzie Schultz, had sent me a heartfelt and lengthy text message back in October of 2019. And I was in the middle of being a dance mom and rhinestoning all these costumes. And I remember kind of like scrolling on my Apple Watch, kind of skimming it, but didn't really absorb the information. I went on with my dance mom duties, and a week passed, and I completely had forgotten that Mackenzie had reached out to me. And she sent me a second text message, to which I immediately just called her because I felt so guilty that I hadn't responded. And she was talking to me about Melaleuca, but at the time she didn't really mention what it was in detail. So she had asked if I would meet with her, if she could come down to my house, which is about an hour and a half from her. And we had scheduled a time in November, and she had drove down from Cedar Rapids. I live in northeastern Iowa, in Eldridge, Iowa. And I looked out the window, and she's walking in with all these totes of, I assumed, products. And she had come into the house, and we got to talking, and she started laying out all these products and explaining the business opportunity to me and what Melaleuca was about. She had recognized that I had stopped posting as frequently. I had been with an MLM previously for 4.5 years. And it was very clear that my passion had completely disintegrated with that company. And I think she knew that I needed this opportunity. I am a single mom of 2 kids, and I am the sole income provider, and everything I do, my job, I am a photographer, but my former company that I was with was my main source of income. But she didn't know this, but at the time I was just really struggling financially, which I then started photographing more, which was nice to have something to fall back on. But I knew that there was something more out there for me, and I think she saw that in me as well. So she started showing me some of her paychecks and explaining the business side of it. And right then and there, I enrolled. And then she started explaining, how we can impact other people's lives. So I called 2 of my girlfriends right when Mackenzie was at the house, and they enrolled by the time I was off, or by the time Mackenzie had left. And I just knew that I could do this. And she totally believed in me and held my hand and helped me, with my business. And there were lots of strategy calls, and I am forever grateful for Mackenzie. She just knew I needed this, and it has completely changed my life in ways that I can't even wrap my head around. I know that I've shared this story with some people, but the most impactful moment that I realized this really changed my life and my children's life for the long haul was when it was after my second pretty significant paycheck. The first paycheck, I had bought my riding lawnmower that I was dying to have. So that's exciting. But I had paid off a lot of debt. And then after my second significant paycheck, I had my nephew over. This is a funny story. I had my nephew over, and he had brought his Nintendo Switch. My nephew is now 8. My son's 7. And he wouldn't share the Nintendo Switch with my son. And it made me mad because I'm like, okay, don't bring it if you're not going to share. But then in the back of my head, I thought, I want to buy my son this Nintendo Switch. But with COVID, there's been a huge shortage with being able to just go to the store and purchase a Nintendo Switch. It's really high in demand. And I went to Target, and in the back of my head, I thought, I'm going to meander over to the gaming section. And if there's a Nintendo Switch, I'm buying it for my son today. But there was always this, and it happened frequently, and I didn't intend on getting emotional talking about this, but I had the habit before every grocery trip or everything that I did to log into my US bank account and check my balance before I spent any amount of money on anything really, just to make sure I had enough to cover it after I had paid my bills. So I remember walking over to the Nintendo Switch and there was one left. And I stood there and I'm like, I am not moving from this spot. And my son was sitting in the cart. And I'm looking over, about 5 minutes had passed. And in that 5 minutes waiting for an associate to come over and unlock the case, I got on my US bank account and I had checked my balance and there was over $12,000 in there. And I remember thinking, there was this I already had buyer's remorse before I even bought the game for him. But I'm thinking, I have enough money to purchase this. What am I worried about? I don't have to worry. I paid my bills for the month. I can buy this for him. So just seeing that number, I don't know why, but I just felt like I was going to log in and it was going to be the same balance, and I was going to have to just forget the idea, and he had a little mask on and he heard me say to the associate, can you I would like to buy this Nintendo Switch. And my son looked up at me and I could tell his mouth was wide open, even though he had a mask on. And he jumped out of the cart into my arms. The cart went flying into another display. And he's like, you're the best mom in the world. Are you seriously going to get this for me? And I said, yes, and you get to pick out a game. And he was just completely overjoyed. And that was just a really big turning point for me, because I want to be able to give my kids things. And yeah, so it was really a special moment for me as a mom. And, I called Mackenzie and I told her the story, and I've just really had all my thanks to give to her for believing in me. And also I want to point out that originally I kind of ghosted her. And if it wasn't for her following up with me a week later, I wouldn't be here. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you do reach out to people, especially if they're a hard call. Mackenzie considered me a hard call. I had been with the company for 4.5 years, which I was at the top of. I know it was hard for her to reach out to me. And I know she was sweating and was on the verge of puking because she told me that. And I did ignore her, but she followed up with me. And if it wasn't for her, following up with me and genuinely just sharing the business and the products with me, I for sure would not be here right now. And honestly, I don't know where I would be had I not trusted her and just gave her that opportunity to, present this to me and share Melaleuca with me. And it has completely changed me and my children's lives. And I'm forever grateful for Mackenzie.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for sharing the story. Congratulations on your advancement to Senior Director 5. And on behalf of everybody here, we applaud you for your efforts and your diligence as a single mom. So thank you.
Thank you
Amanda, for your example.
Thank you.
Another thing I'd like to mention that I think is great with, when it comes to Melaleuca and what Amanda shared with us is, she mentioned how she was with multi-level marketing before, and that industry is notorious for fake it till you make it and flashy lifestyle and quit your job and buy fancy cars and all those things. And that's just not who Melaleuca is. Lives change here every day. It's about real products that real customers really want. That's our focus, is the products. Our business is the products. And it's fun to hear stories that how lives change by paying off debt, not getting into debt. And lives change by being able to buy a lawnmower and to be able to buy a kid a gift. As parents, we all want to be the hero and we don't want to spoil our kids rotten, but sometimes we want to do something nice for them. We as a parent, I know seeing a child smile and seeing them happy means a lot. And that really resonated with me. And that's one of the things I love about Melaleuca. Lives change here every day. And if you're not in a situation where you're buying a new house and car, not very few people here today have the kind of income to do that. But what it means, when you're making a little extra money every month to be able to take your spouse out for date night or to do something nice for a child or to pay down some debt, that's what Melaleuca is all about. And it gives me a very warm feeling. Sometimes people ask,